Welcome back to the deep dive. Okay, so today we've got this stack of sources that are pretty much like a blueprint for your future.
Yeah, it's really cool stuff.
Our mission today, we're exploring how technology is like fundamentally creating
Yeah.
and redefining pretty much every job out there.
It really is the ultimate shortcut, For understanding where things are heading, if you're into anything right now, gaming, art, sports, whatever,
Hmm?
our sources basically show there's a tech career path opening up. It's really not just about like chips and code anymore.
Right.
Tech is woven into everything. Think baseball analytics or how surgeons operate. It's everywhere.
Okay, let's unpack that because
Yeah.
the scale of this change is, well, it's huge.
Yeah.
So let's start with a big question. And we want you, the listener, to really think about this one for a second. Take your time with it. How are technology careers, software design, digital media, cybersecurity, how are they shaping our world and our future, like right now?
Just think about the last thing you did online. Maybe a decision you made, something you bought, or a video you learned from. That whole experience, the look, the feel, how it worked, keeping it safe, that was all built by people in tech careers.
Okay.
So we're going to pull out the really key skills and maybe some surprising jobs that show exactly how creativity, meets logic. Head on.
All right, before we dive into specific jobs, let's just define the landscape a bit. When we say technology career,
Yeah.
what are we actually talking about based on these sources?
Well, it really boils down to using science plus creativity and honestly a lot of problem solving to design or manage digital stuff, systems, apps, you name it.
So programming, analyzing data.
Yeah, programming, data analysis, protecting information, creating content online, or even just helping people use tricky tech tools. And here's the thing that people often miss. These jobs aren't niche anymore. They're not just in tech companies.
Right.
They're in medicine, music, farming, everywhere. If you're good at communicating or organizing things, or even just making things look good visually, there's likely a place for you in tech.
Okay, that raises a really interesting point, though. If tech is everywhere, what happens to, the jobs we think of as traditional?
Ah, good question.
Yeah, so I want you, listening right now, to maybe pause and really think about this. Which jobs today might just disappear? Or maybe more likely, how will they totally change because of things like AI or automation?
And don't just list a job, right? Try to think about why. Is the job mostly doing the same thing over and over? Does it involve moving physical stuff in a really predictable way or processing tons of info super fast?
Exactly.
Because the jobs that are going to stick around, the ones that will thrive, they need complex judgment, creativity, real human interaction, stuff computers aren't great at yet.
Right. So the repetitive stuff gets automated.
Right.
But the creative, complex challenges, those become the new careers. Okay, let's dive into the first big group, the architects of digital experience, creative careers.
Love this group.
First up, the game designer or interactive media developer. So this is about designing that whole experience. Yeah, the rules, the story, how it feels to play.
Exactly. What makes a game fun or maybe even educational?
And what's fascinating, like you said, is the mix of skills. The sources really hammer this home. It's coding, sure, but also art, storytelling, and psychology.
Yeah, cognitive psychology. They're not just making pixels dance. They're engineering how we feel and react. They're designing engagement.
Wait, cognitive psychology. Are you saying game designers are kind of manipulating us to keep playing? Is that...
Well, manipulating sounds negative, but in a way, yes. It's about understanding reward loops. You know why you hit play again.
Ah,
It's often tied to smart design, getting rewards at just the right time, that satisfying ding sound, feeling like you achieved something instantly. Understanding that user experience, that psychology, and using logic to build it, that is the job.
okay. That makes the choices they make super important then. So think about this, everyone. What makes a video game educational versus what makes it just addictive?
Great question.
Both need you to be engaged, right? But the goal is totally different. A really skilled designer knows how to do both.
Totally. Okay, shifting gears slightly, but still in that creative space. Let's talk about the digital content creator or influencer.
Ah, yeah. Making videos, podcasts, blogs, educational stuff. Seems kind of simple, right? Just turn on your phone camera.
Yeah, that's the illusion. But our sources show it's way more complex now. You need to be seriously good with analytics.
Analytics. Like math?
Kind of, knowing exactly who's watching, when they drop off, what keeps them there. Plus branding yourself, and crucially, thinking about ethics, how you present information, what you promote. It's basically a job built on constant feedback and, yeah, processing data.
Wow, so it's really professionalized.
Absolutely. Like 5 years ago, maybe success was just luck, going viral. Now, creators are like mini media companies. They need a constant stream of content, maybe using AI tools to help script or edit. But that means you need high digital literacy, sharp critical thinking. Got to stay authentic,
Yeah,
right?
definitely. Which brings up a distinction the sources make. What's the fundamental difference between influencing someone and just informing them?
Ooh, good one. Well, informing is like, here are the facts, straight up.
Okay.
Influencing, that's using your credibility, how you present things, maybe an emotional connection, to get someone to do something. Buy this, think that, follow this trend.
Right.
So you need amazing communication skills, obviously, but also a really strong ethical compass to handle that kind of, well, influence, that responsibility.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on from the creative front lines.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the backbone, the infrastructure people,
Yeah.
the problem solvers and protectors.
The digital plumbers and security guards, essential stuff.
Exactly. First, the software and app developer. These are the folks using logic, algorithms, innovation, basically building the programs that run everything.
Yeah.
Your phone, your watch, huge systems in hospitals.
Yeah, the builders. And the key skills mentioned here are coding languages, obviously, but also stuff the source is called debugging and ethical design thinking.
Debugging. That's
Yeah.
just fixing mistakes, right?
Well, yes and no. It's more like being a detective. It's a high-level logic puzzle, tracing a tiny fault through maybe thousands of lines of code to find the exact spot where things went wrong. It takes incredible persistence, analytical skill, patience, lots of patience.
Okay, I get the logic part, but ethical design thinking. I'm surprised the sources list that as a core skill for a developer. Why is ethics so critical right now?
Oh, it's huge. Because basically every single decision a developer makes could impact millions of people. Think about privacy settings on an app. Should the app just grab your location data automatically? Or should the developer design it so you have to actively say yes? Okay, that's ethical design, making sure the tech serves the user, not just, the company's desire for data.
Wow. That's a really powerful way to put it.
Uh,
Okay, here's a challenge question then to apply that idea. How could app developers use their skills to help fight something big, like climate change, or maybe improve mental health?
Great examples. Well, they could design an app that makes reducing your carbon footprint feel like a game, right? With points and rewards.
Okay, yeah.
Or create really secure, accessible platforms where people can find peer support for mental health struggles. The developer takes this massive human problem and breaks it down into manageable, solvable technical steps.
Cool. So while those developers are busy building the next big thing, someone else has to stand guard, right?
Exactly. That brings us to the network and cybersecurity specialists, the digital guardians, essential for keeping everything online safe and, well, just working.
So they manage the networks, stop hackers.
Yep. Manage networks, prevent hacking, protect our data privacy. This job needs intense risk analysis. You almost have to think like a hacker to figure out the weak spots. And digital responsibility is key.
Sounds high pressure.
Oh, it is. Super high stakes.
Yeah.
One mistake, one vulnerability missed could cost a company millions or expose sensitive personal info.
Okay, let's make this real. Quick scenario. Imagine a school system gets hacked. A hacker steals critical student data.
Yeah. What does this cybersecurity professional do, like, immediately?
Right, okay. First step, containment. Lock it down, isolate the breach so the attacker can't move around anymore or steal more data. Stop the bleeding, basically.
Makes sense.
Then investigation. How did they get in? Was it a phishing email someone clicked? A flaw in the software nobody knew about? A 0-day. Once they find the how, they patch it, fix that vulnerability, like right now. Then comes the damage assessment, what exactly was taken. And working with legal or privacy folks to notify the families affected. It's like detective work mixed with high-speed emergency room response. Wow. That really highlights how crucial that role is. Okay, we've hit 4 pretty diverse careers here. Creative stuff, building stuff, protecting stuff. Let's try to tie it together, using the source materials idea of connecting the tools they use to their purpose.
Yeah, that's a good way to summarize. Because we throw around jargon, but let's break down the tool simply.
Okay, so if you think of a game designer, they use a game engine, which is basically like a super fancy construction kit for making interactive worlds.
Right.
And the purpose is
Immersive storytelling.
pulling you into that world.
Perfect. Okay, next. The app developer. They rely heavily on a code editor. That's just the place they write the actual instructions, the code.
And they do that for the purpose of solving user problems, making life easier or more fun or more connected.
Exactly. Then the network specialist, their main tool might be something like a server, those powerful computers that manage all the connections and data.
And the purpose there is crystal clear: reliable connection and security, keeping everything online running smoothly and safely.
Yeah. Eh. And finally, the content creator. They're constantly looking at an analytics dashboard. That's what turns all the raw data, clicks, and views into charts they can understand.
For the critical purpose of
Oh.
audience engagement, knowing what works, what people like, what keeps them watching. Without that dashboard, like you said, they're just guessing.
Totally. Flying blind.
That quick matchup makes it so clear. Even with all the technical tools, the end goal is always human, isn't it? To solve, protect, inform, or entertain.
Mm-hmm. Which brings us to the listener again. Before we wrap up, we really want you to make this personal. Let's do a final reflection, connecting your own interests to this map of the future.
Yeah, take a second and think about your own talents, your hobbies. How could something you enjoy now, like gaming, designing stuff, writing, even just tinkering and fixing your phone when it glitches, how could that turn into a future tech skill?
And don't just list the hobby, try to dig a bit deeper. What's the skill underneath? If you spend hours gaming, maybe you're really good at persistence or optimizing systems to win.
Right. Or if you love drawing, maybe you have a natural eye for user interface design, making things easy and appealing to use.
Exactly. The goal is for you to be able to finish the sentence in your head. I could maybe see myself as a career we talked about because I really enjoy hobby skill, and I'd like to use that to purpose solve problems, create stuff, protect data, etc.
That's a great exercise.
Mm.
So, okay, recapping our deep dive today,
Mm-hmm.
we saw how tech links creativity, logic, innovation
Mm.
across basically every career path imaginable now.
Yeah.
We looked at specific jobs and saw that the future doesn't just need coders. It needs people who understand how to use this amazing power responsibly.
That's the key takeaway, I think. What's really fascinating is how the sources kept pointing to future skills like AI literacy, just understanding AI plus data ethics, and sustainable design. Technology is like a superpower now, a force multiplier. And we desperately need people who get the moral weight of the decisions they're making with that power.
Totally agree. So, thinking about those themes, especially ethical design, here's our final provocative question for you to chew on after we sign off. If you could design one new rule for how your favorite app handles your personal information, what would that rule be? Just one rule.
Ooh, I like that. Because that simple question forces you to think like an engineer and an ethicist and a privacy advocate all at the same time.
Exactly.
And that kind of thinking, that's the core of building a responsible future of work.
Couldn't have said it better. Thanks for diving deep with us today.
Yeah, this is fun.
We'll get it next time.